Just see, Mark.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, test it. Make sure it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait.
This is raw and raw and uncut. I think it would be a brilliant. So you're a musician also, Lukasz.
Yes, I am. As you can see.
Yeah, and so a keyboard, a couple of them. These are nifty keyboards. These are not the cheaper kind.
That's a two Rolands. This is two workstation. One is here, and hold on. By the way, I need to. I will enlarge this. That's one FA08, and this is Phantom.
And what type of music do you play?
I'm doing like kind of a broken beats. I was doing drum and bass back in the day on computer, but with this hardware, I'm trying to make something which is close to drum and bass, but also a bit different. So I'm using, you playing music, so you will know what I'm talking about. I am trying to use unusual time signatures. So I'm trying to write not 4x4, I'm trying to write 7x4 or 9x4.
I can barely play 4x4, so don't count on me to back you up in 7x4 or whatever. Okay, my count is completely off.
Well, I remember when he was playing on the harmonica in Reykjavik or near Reykjavik in 2013 or 14. We met there, so it was really nice. Don't tell that you cannot count. You've been counting very well.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lukasz. Great coming from you. So what are you doing these days? Besides tackling COVID? So
well, partially it didn't change much about me because, as you know, for last 2 years I'm working fully on my own. And this is pretty much my office and my recording studio.
Yeah.
So that didn't change much. Most of my clients been absolutely chilled out. And I always say that we SEOs are like not on the first line that will be hit by this COVID and lockdown, because we can do job from wherever we are, and we are doing this in online environment. And there is a couple of layers before we will get hit. But obviously when clients of our clients get hit and then our clients get hit, then we can also get hit. So from one side, it didn't change, but from the other side, you know, I'm living in East London in a place called Barking/Dagenham, which is not the most entertaining place. And my only 2 pubs are right now closed. I don't know what to do. You know, like, I don't know what to do. A Nigerian place that I'm normally going for a Nigerian beer is also closed, and it's a very cool lounge bar, kind of open till 12, completely shut down. All the takeaways shut down. The only entertainment you have is to go to your local store for food and just have a couple of words with the guy. He's buying, by the way, I like very much Turkish yogurt, which is called Ayran, something like that. And he bought me, like, last time I was like, why are you buying the small bottles? Buy the big one. He bought like 6-pack, one pack of 6. I was like, yeah, I'm taking this. So that's my entertainment. And we're going to the park. But aside of that, it's still quite busy for me. I'm not like, you know, lying on the sofa and watching TV and thinking what to do with my life, except of lack of confidence.
Which is okay sometimes, Lukasz.
Yeah, I know. But except the thing I'm missing is, you know, this kind of busy world that you are jumping to the plane, flying here, flying there, and so on. And so you said that you had a chat with Aleida before me, but she's also missing this kind of element of being an SEO.
Yeah. But she has an interesting side to her, which I didn't know, is the remoters.net that she's doing, which is brilliant. And that actually was interesting to talk about. So one question, and I realized that with Aleida also when I was speaking to her, is that I've known her probably as long as I've known you. And what was interesting is that I never asked her why she became an SEO. Why did you become an SEO? What happened? Like, well, who is Lukasz? Was it like you play music and like she's an engineer?
Yeah, it's a story. I can try to tell you the story in a nutshell. but it fits into the area of unusual stories of most SEOs, why they become SEOs.
Yeah.
When I was much younger, I was really into music. When I was 6 years old, I started, 8 years old, I started studying music. I finished my primary degree and so on. Then I started composing on the computer. Then I get more into DJing. I was always like very nerdy guy, you know. I wasn't this guy who was like all the time playing football. I was playing football, but I was also doing lots of geeky, nerdy stuff. And I was born in a small town called Tarnowskie Góry in Poland. And there was no clubs, there was no drum and bass, because I was really into drum and bass drum and bass music. And
you were the only drum and bass guy in town.
I was the only drum and bass. That weirdo, you know. It's like everyone was listening like 4x4, boom, boom, boom. You know, a kind of German progressive house. And I was listening to drum and bass, which was far, far away from Poland to UK than to Germany, because the German music very much influenced Poland those days.
Yeah.
So when in UK, drum and bass was like working class music, in Poland that was like very sophisticated music for a very, very limited number of people. And I wanted to play as a DJ, and I couldn't find a way to get into the clubs in the big cities. So I built a website, and then I started thinking, how can I get the traffic to this website? And I started thinking how to measure traffic. That was the year 2000. It was before Google Analytics and so on and so on. And then I started reading and so on and so on and so on. And I started ranking higher. And then I started getting bookings. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. So it works. And obviously, you know, music is very difficult as a source of income. This is not something sustainable. So, you know, parents didn't want to pay my bills forever. So then I was like, okay, so I can do an SEO as my main, like a professional aspect of my life. And music will stay as a hobby. And you can see that this is not very far where is my computer and my my Rolands. And this is how it stayed. So I'm still into me. And I feel quite lucky because music stays as a hobby, not a way of earning. So no one is telling me what should I compose, how should I compose, because we need to sell it, because we need to earn money, you know.
But how did SEO then come about? Like so if I understand you correctly, you started your own website and you wanted to get out as a musician, but then you realized, ooh, I'm onto something here. Like there's something, So what was your first job in SEO? What?
Well, my first job in SEO, that was in Zakopane, which is a kind of a mountain little town, very popular in Poland. And there was a small company that was making websites for bed and breakfast owners. That was way before Booking.com took over everywhere. And we were a company that was serving service to these people who we were making websites and so on and so on. It was 2005. And obviously I was like, well, we can try to offer them SEO as well. Those days, not many people knew how to do this. And, you know, when they will have more visits and they will have more calls and more inquiries and so on and so on and so on. And people slowly started getting into our company, and they started, because, you know, it was difficult to convince people those days. It was so abstract, so kind of like, you know, like difficult to understand. It was almost as difficult as today I would go back to my granny, who is 90 years old this year, you know, try to explain her what I'm doing today.
I'm doing SEO.
Why do I need this? I never heard about that, and so on and so on and so on. And you know, like after 1.5 years, I moved to UK, and then every job I was first travel agency, then a lawyer company, then another rental property for rentals, for holidays.
So you were more on the client side than in the beginning?
Always on client side. I've never been working for agency as employee, but maybe that's why I can, because I'm right now a non-executive director of Smarter Media, a Swindon-based agency, which I really love working with, because I can bring for these guys who are their experience of what I would expect as a customer, and now we all together can serve better for the customers.
I think it does everybody good to be on the client side once in a while, also to understand that those who work only on the agency side or even on a consultancy side, they kind of don't get the internal mechanism, and being able to put that out there is brilliant. So and then when you move to the UK, I mean, so 2013-14, we meet the first time, and you've been quite prominent, and your prominence has been growing. Is that like what is it that you specialize in? Why is Lukasz Lukasz? Why are you yeah? Why?
So I know where you're going with this. So I think let me refer back to drum and bass. Being a DJ was like playing for people, in front of the people, and so on and so on. And surprisingly, I did not enjoy this part, but it was a must.
Yeah.
What I enjoyed was to close myself in the room and compose a track.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I was missing really a contact with people, and also I was quite frustrated about seeing some speakers on the conference who are going on the stage and starting like, "Oh man, SEO, crazy stuff." And I'm like, I'm waiting for like a point, and there is no point. It's like just faff. And I was like, come on, I can do this like better and pass some knowledge. And then I realized that I really like, much more than playing in front of the people as a DJ, I like to verbal communication, words, like we're talking right now.
But is that the education? Because it sounds to me like that. It's the same with me. All the conferences I go to, I have listened to more speakers than I care for sometimes. But and actually, let's put it this way. I have listened to more speakers that don't make any sense than I care for, and it's actually interesting when you are speaking at the conference, you're not hired to talk. I think you said fluff. You're hired to talk and actually educate,
exactly,
and bring something to the table. So was that what kind of triggered you? You saw that you could educate, you could help people and become.
I think this is subconsciously coming because of my family. My mom was for 20 or 30 years a biology teacher, and my dad was Polish army officer, which had like a lots of influence for us. He was like teaching young soldiers of many things, and later when he left army, he became a teacher of like computer science as well. So you know this educational aspect of teaching and sharing knowledge was circulating in my childhood all the time, and from one side I'm very excited about things. From the other side, you need, like, I noticed that people like passionate people. Even if you don't share the passion, you are enjoying to watch someone who is talking with something with passion.
Yeah. So you can be, that's how we connected.
Exactly. You can be a beekeeper, and I know nothing about beekeeping, but you are passionate about this, and I will be listening to you. So my point is, like, when I'm going on the stage, I want to make this interesting. I want to keep attention. I want to make this funny, but first of all, I want to pass knowledge. And when people are coming to me after presentation or writing on LinkedIn, like, man, that was the best presentation of the whole conference. I learned so much. You teach me so much. Then it makes me feel motivated, but also I feel like I made a good job in this 20 or 30 minutes.
And that's exactly like you've been to Iceland a couple of times, and you
eight or 9 times.
Overall. There you go. And you've spoken at Rimkot at least twice. And what I'm thinking here.
One I was there, and second one I was speaking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. And one of the things was there's the same feedback, and I sent emails, guys, to everybody like, don't self promote, don't talk about yourself. It's okay to have a short introduction who you are, it's fine. But what people will buy into is actually the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
But again and again, I see people coming up with like, out of like a slide deck of 25, they have like 7 about themselves or 5 about themselves. And
this
how brilliant!
Bollocks.
It's just bollocks, exactly. Yeah. But so musician and SEO, and I see that also quite frequently. I don't know. Maybe it's something with the brain activity, like the way that we are from a creative point of view, but also have to be calculative. We have to think about technology.
Exactly. I will get into this point in a second, but I wanted to add one more thing about this slide deck you said. I have this kind of bullshit matter in my head, you know. And when I hear a word, growth hacking, and in the next 30 seconds, I will hear a word Dropbox, then I know that this is yet another guy who is thinking like, oh, you know, growth hacking, take a look on Dropbox. This is so rubbish advice. Like you would say, you want to be rich, take a look on Elon Musk, start your car factory, or put like things on the orbit, you know, like give something that is doable, you know.
I haven't eaten anything. I'm going to have some. I have a bite here.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. With Sker, you eating Sker? Oh, you turned off.
Yeah, sorry, I was my fault. It's just cheese with ham in it and a cracker.
Oh, nice. I remember we had conversation when Sker appeared in UK, and he was like, "This is not the original Sker." No, it's not.
No.
But yeah, going back to your question about this this brain thing, I absolutely agree with you, and I noticed it many years ago. How many times was like, I was joining company and there was another SEO, and I was like, so what are you doing for aside of SEO? I'm playing guitar, I'm writing poet, I'm painter. So you very often you have these brains which are partly like a scientific, calculative matter, and from the other side is like an art. And I think SEO is a bit like that. It must be, you must be creative, but also you must be very much about numbers and so on and so on.
Yeah, there's a book out there actually, which I'm trying to remember. I was trying to Google it here while we speak. It was research done in, I think, Oxford or whatever, like a nice university, there, where they came to the conclusion that, for example, I think 75% of those that have won the Nobel Prize are people that have been part of the acting society in the university, or they've dabbled with playing music, or they've done something else. And what the conclusion was in the end was that it was the conclusion of the book is that people that hone in later on their speciality and have done multiple things on the way are likely to succeed with their speciality rather than those that come directly out of school and try to work it from there, because they don't bring any of the world knowledge with them. So I think that having music, having art, having anything that comes with it actually gives you a dimension which changes everything.
Very, very true. You can look on the problem from different angles.
Yes.
You know, so this is funny because you reminded me like 1993 when I was 12. That was the first, I was born in 1981. Yeah. So, so when I was 12, I just started doing music on my Amiga computer. And then I started doing also programs. Yeah. And like there was a software called Amos Professional. And I recently had a conversation with the guy who created this, who was like kind of my guru when I was a kid. And he's a French guy living in Warsaw. So it was like amazing that I could get back after 30 years almost to that time, you know.
And catch up with him. I think, talking about gurus, I think I've often thought about who are my gurus in what I'm doing. And I think it's a collective. I have a collective of gurus. Like you are one of my gurus.
Oh,
like everybody that I've met, like people like Bill Hunt, Alaida, I don't have one guru. It's like a collective of people that kind of influence me in one way or another. So you pick up these little things.
Yeah.
Like when you're making music, you pick up some sounds and stuff. But there's one guy which a couple of guys which I wanted to meet and just like talk to. And there was once chance encounter. I was speaking at a conference where Sir Tim Berners-Lee was speaking at. So he was the keynote, and we went to an after party, which was super nice. It was like and we had a little bit of red wine, and everybody was a little bit tipsy. It was nice, and he was there, and he had some red wine. Yeah, and he was a little bit tipsy, but which was nice. He was very civilized, and there was not enough toilets, so I had gone out and done what a caveman does outside. And then I was on my way in, and I meet this guy in the door, and that's Tim Berners-Lee. And basically, it's a chance encounter in the door. So I'm going in, he's going out through the same door. and for some reason we decided that we would both fit into that door going in and out. It worked out okay. He's a little bit, was not as big as I am, but I managed to get a question to him, like literally like in a second, and the question was, how do you think this is all panned out? Has it panned out as you planned for? And like it's basically a conversation that happens within the period of maybe 6-7 seconds. And he looks at me and he had a brilliant answer. He said to me, a lot has panned out as I thought it would, but I've had more surprises that I didn't foresee. And then that was done. And so these are like going back to collective of influencers. That sentence influenced me quite a lot.
Yes, I agree with you. There is some small situation that will happen in a life, and the art is to see that small situation.
Yes.
Because lots of people, it's the same about happiness. I understood many years ago that the problem that people are unhappy very often is that they lost ability to be happy about small things, and they always waiting for a big things. And there is so many small things happening every day that you can be happy. You know, some silly things for many people, you know, like, I don't know, like a rain today, first time after 3 weeks, you know. I don't know if I can show you this like that, but yeah, this is how it looks. And yeah, and here is a good who I would like to meet. I have this question on interview. 3 people dead or alive you would like to meet in your life, and he's one. That's a Socrates.
Yes,
I brought this from Greece. Yeah. So yeah,
brilliant. And I think also the appreciation, like you're saying, the appreciation of the moment. Like I pitched a project, Cambridge University, many years ago. There was migrating a lot of websites that had been kind of manually made into a CMS system, and I walked into this house which was probably built. It actually was built 1300 and something. And I realized when I was sitting in the house pitching to this guy who was the kind of marketing technologist of Cambridge, that I might be sitting in the same house as Gutenberg sat in when he was pitching print.
Yeah.
So, and basically it dawned on me that we're all miniature Gutenbergs. We're kind of inventing this industry. So you're doing some of it, I'm doing some of it, and we're building it up, and we're just tagging along, and then there will be new Gutenbergs, and because it's changing so fast, it's moving so fast.
And did you notice also that this industry that, like you said, like us, so, you know, there is plenty of people, like I, for example, personally really respect Stefan Spencer, that you probably met on one of the SCM Rush meeting. Then you mentioned Aleida, Philly, Kaspar, and so everyone is very friendly. We are like kind of family, and I even noticed this more when I had a conversation with a guy. We have this like Zoom every week with Polish SEOs, and one guy was like joined SEO. He is an agency owner, very successful, but he was in the printing marketing, and he was like, guys, you cannot imagine how much shit I was going through because I was very successful there, and how other were trying to steal my customers, and so, and then I'm moving into SEO. Is in completely different world. He was like, he told me, like, I remember first time being on a conference, and there was all these guys, like elite guys, and they saw me, and they were like straight away, like, are you going with us? We're going just for a pint or something, just to have a chat a bit, not necessarily about SEO. And he was like, I didn't even know them. I didn't know who they are. They didn't know me, but they've been absolutely fine. You know, so this is very unique, I think, about this industry.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. The book I was talking about is called Range, R-A-N-G-E. It's a brilliant book, and basically why generalists triumph in a specialized world. And it sounds a little bit flaky, the title maybe, but it's a brilliant book. It's an absolutely brilliant book.
Range. I will add this to my.
Take it on while you're at the store selecting your Turkey's yogurt. You can put it on into your left ear and take it in.
Yeah.
But, the challenge of being in the now is that seldomly has Earth been hit by a challenge like the COVID virus, and what I've seen, and I've seen that with myself. I mean, I specialize in travel, so you can imagine how I'm being hit by that, or at least my agency has a lot of travel. I do a lot of B2B myself, so but you can imagine how that is working out. How is Lukasz hanging in there? Are you being hit, or is everything okay?
Well, so like I said to you, like whenever the lockdown came,
yeah,
there were minor number of customers,
yeah,
but I understand them. One of them was like transfers from and to airports. So we can imagine that this is completely vanished. That there is no demand. There is not probably not a single search. You can be on top. You can be in AdWords, and nobody will click because nobody cares. Airports are empty, you know.
But hold on, look at. Should that guy, instead of closing down, focus on now that let's say that 70% of companies go like, oh, we can't do anything. Should that guy then be a little bit sneaky and because everything will happen like later on, things will actually take on again, and then maybe he will have done some background work that actually helps him take over the competition. I don't know.
I think this is very true for other industries that I'm working with, like for example, jewelers, luxury industry. These guys are very much about like, it's only now, maybe for a few months, we need to be stronger when we will get back. Obviously, you know, how successful that will be depends how many other guys is thinking the same. If other guys are thinking the same, then nothing is changing. So overall, I noticed that maybe like 2-3 customers pulled back, but now is the week 6, and I already started getting back inquiries, inbound inquiries. I started sending offers. So you know, in that area, that get back to normal.
Yeah. And what would like from your point of view, companies that are tackling like you have all these people working from home, you're trying to make the workforce do as much as they can. What would be what focus should they have specifically from like maybe from an SEO point of view? What can they do? What should they be doing now in kind of using the time well?
Well, I think if company is completely shut down and there is no demand, then this is the first moment that you can go out of the hamster wheel. You know, very often the companies are like in the hamster wheel. They are just running because it's like self-propelling system, and they are like heads down and typing quickly, not thinking about the next steps, because now it works today, tomorrow, and we need to care that their hamster wheel is rotating. Now hamster wheel broke and there is no way to run. So this is the moment that we may think, okay, can we make this hamster wheel electric and we don't need to run anymore, and we can do something more creative. You know, it's very, very wide topic, but it can be content marketing, content architecture, thinking to change, to migrate server from that crappy, slow server that you always been at into something faster, maybe Magento 1 to Magento 2, because right now there is no inquiries. You know, that's just few things. However, by the way, I wanted to mention, I have one client from Netherlands, and these guys are doing like crazy. They have like the best months ever because people cannot buy things. They are selling heavy stuff, like saws, drillers, you know, Benny Benassi. Benny Benassi.
Okay.
So people cannot go to the shops. And right now, according to BBC, in UK, for example, 30% or more people is doing gardening. Because they are locked at home. So if they need some tools, they cannot go, and they probably even don't want to go. They ordering online, and that's why they have much better traffic, much better orders. They sending everything, and so on and so on. I just saw this survey recently that what people are doing, mostly gardening or refurbishing houses.
And also buying furniture. The thing is, because I have a couple of furniture clients, and what is interesting about that is that So look at it like this. I'm going to revert a little bit. There are a couple of interesting things. Have you looked at the COVID-19 Google mobility reports that Google publishes?
Yes.
Okay, so there's actually beauty in that data, because you can see, like, now if you go and look at them now, because I've downloaded more or less all the countries I'm interested in, and I've done that every time, and I've been comparing the data points, like what's been happening over time, and you can see that the difference between how Sweden was behaving compared to Norway, compared to UK. UK went like this, and then like this, and what Norwegians are, what's interesting about Norway, and this seems to be throughout, and it just underlines what you were saying, is that the postal office here in Norway says that close to every day is like Black Friday. It's just crazy. They've never been so busy every day. Like, people are ordering, and there are stores like 7-Eleven type of stores in the neighborhood where I am, and they basically have been turned into postal offices. They're just taking in massive packages from IKEA and so
Wow.
on. And people who are staying home, they are realizing how uncomfortable their furniture is, because now they're just there and they need to get proper chairs because they're doing home office, proper desks, and so furniture also seems to be something that is being But to your point, yeah, absolutely, and those who were ready, those that were ready with some e-commerce are actually the ones probably who are benefiting from this from most, those that had the infrastructure.
Exactly. And if you will give me a second,
I will give you 50
I will just try to pull this image back, because I posted this somewhere on the group chat once again, when we have this kind of group chat with Polish SEOs.
Yeah.
And let me find this.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but anyway, we can continue. So this is pretty much like you're saying, that there are things that generally wouldn't people would not have time to deal with, and right now, because of the COVID, and because of the fact that we are locked, then people have much more time for this kind of things.
And how is Poland?
Poland is crazy strict.
Yeah.
Poland is crazy strict, and this is quite scary, because you could even get like 5,000 euro penalty for leaving house during the quarantine.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you're going to the store or what. No, that can't be.
No, that's okay actually. But people were like running or something, and then I think police also didn't properly know what the do and don'ts, and they were giving this penalties. I mean, it's one of the most strict country right now. They are trying to leave couple of restrictions, but generally, like my dad, for example, is sitting at home and he has apartment, not a house, so he cannot go to the garden. But anyway, he's just going every day to go somewhere and to buy some food, groceries, this kind of things. But that's pretty much all. Generally, it's very quiet, and all my friends are working from home, and in many companies that works really well, really smooth, so there is no issues.
Yeah. But how is Poland like? I mean, you come from a small town in Poland, and now you're in London, which is one of the biggest cities in Europe and actually in the world.
Yeah.
But comparing Poland to the UK, for example, like, what are the big differences that you're seeing or feeling or experiencing?
Well, I think when I was leaving Poland in 2007, then it was completely different country. Right now, because of the European Union, because of the really strong focus on business, they're really picking up, and you can see more, for example, English people living in Poland. But obviously, the economy probably is not as strong and as strong to survive such a big things like COVID. So I don't know what the situation will look like after COVID is over, but definitely, there is lots of businesses, and there is not like just only like UK. You have like pretty much London and then rest. And in Poland, it's more like there is Warsaw, but there is also Wrocław. There is also on the north, Gdańsk, Gdynia, Sopot. So it's a bit more spread.
Yeah.
And it's nice country, you know. People are nice. Everyone is speaking English. You know, it's great to go there for a weekend. But probably it would be difficult for me to move back to Poland because, you know, like the way of making business is very different in Poland than in UK, and probably the same in Norway. When you are, I don't know how Norway is different from Iceland, but yeah, that's you could tell me more.
Icelanders are the hyperactive brothers of Norwegian. So Iceland is ADHD of the north. One thing which I've noticed, so I worked with Polish people throughout. My background is electronics, so electricity, and so there's a lot of kind of in my family, carpenters, electricians, and so on. And so I've worked quite a lot with some Polish people in different industries. And actually, when I was young, I used to work in a fish plant or fish through the school year. So I was working in the fishing industry and the fisheries, and there was a lot of Polish people coming and working maybe over a winter or something to get some money. And I've seldomly met people with great work ethics and so people that actually do the job, but are very efficient about it. So Poland is a very interesting country to me.
Yeah, you had a minority of 10,000 Polish people, I think, in Iceland. When we went with my dad and we went to visit Hof. Then in Hof, there was a Polish cook who was cooking. You know, we recognized him straight away. I was like, this dude looks like Polish. He was like, oh yeah. And you know what? By the way, there was like some guys from Iceland who were talking to me a couple of months ago, and we were talking about Iceland, and I was like, yeah, you know, I've been everywhere. And if you don't believe me, I know even places like Vopnafjörður. And like, oh my gosh, I'm from Vopnafjörður. I was like, you see small world. Yeah. I remember in Eglistadir, there was a woman behind the hotel desk, and I asked her if she can sell me a beer, and she was like, actually it's closed, but I can sell you. And then I realized that she's Polish, and I was like, and she told me that she had 15 years old daughter. I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking that you are my age. She's like, oh my gosh, now you have this beer for free.
But I think the nation of Iceland, I think is 10-12%.
Yeah. There is. I was reading that there is like 10,000 Polish and 1,000 Lithuanians, and then the rest, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. But there's a reason why that is, and I think that and is that the Polish people in general are quite they are the work ethics are high and just great people.
You know, I think this is because of the having a job for many years. In Poland was a privilege, almost like, because like very high unemployment rate, and also we haven't had this, like most of the Central Eastern Europe, we haven't had this culture of taking a loan, taking a mortgage. You know, we were rather saving and then buying. You know, so all together makes this kind of work ethic maybe. I'm just thinking loudly, you know, maybe high, you know.
Yeah. But that's actually something that so taking loans and kind of that's actually something that is a good trait. Now, specifically now, when you see in a difficult situations that the less you owe people money, the better you're off. So,
yes,
it's a really good trait.
So you see, it's like biblical 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of a bad time, you know.
Yeah.
So when you have a prosperity time, you're trying to secure, you're trying to make sure that you are ready in case of. So when the COVID came, like, you know, my Polish nature was like, okay, I'm kind of sorted. I'm not freaking out. I don't have any employees. I don't have a cost with office. So, you know, that also made me quite chilled. You know?
Yeah. And if you had to give some advice now to those who are tackling this, what would be the advice that you would want to give? Not to be about SEO, just for anything, like what is
I think people need to stay sane, because this is the most important. So, make sure that I have a client who is always at morning going for a long walk.
Yeah.
And he said, like, this is that thing that if they would take me away, that thing that would be very problematic for me. So you have a smartphone in most of the cases.
Yeah.
You can measure how many steps you're doing. And he's doing at least 10,000 or more steps a day.
Yeah.
And this is very important, because you can physically get tired, and this is quite important. And also during that time, it's pretty much like an hour walk, early morning, 6 till 7, let's say. You can listen like a podcast, you can listen an audiobook. I love audiobooks, and that is your time. I have these two dudes. And sometimes my wife is opening door and it's like, dude, I'm calling you. I was like, sorry, but I have a headphones. I'm just composing, something that keep you sane. And then, what British are always saying, keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
That's only temporary. And think about this.
Yeah.
This is not end of the world. The 2-3 generation ago, in London, you had Blitz. In Europe, you had wars. So, seriously, we are not in that bad situation.
Oh, no.
We just need to stay at home,
Yeah.
I hope that this will help. There is no golden bullet, but I think, if you always was thinking about doing something and you never had the time for painting, writing poet, going 10,000 steps a day, recommended by NHS, using audiobooks, webinar, podcast, or like, for example, you see, I love the series that you started. When you wrote to me, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Maybe if there wouldn't be a COVID era, then you wouldn't have a time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually the reason why I did it.
Yeah, so it also motivates me to start doing something like that, and just trying to go with new ideas.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm actually going to go now. In my calendar, I have 10,000 steps. Actually, I have 6,000 steps. So I have to do 6,000 steps.
Brilliant.
So now I'm going out to do my 6,000 steps. Take a walk around center Oslo and do that and enjoy that.
You know what I want to do? I want to merge my step meter through Zapier to Data Studio and then put this publicly. So I will have motivation, like how Lukasz is doing, And I have this body scale that you can check how many kilos you have, that is automatically sending information to my app. This app can automatically send this to Google spreadsheet. That way I can motivate myself.
There you go.
Showing others.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you have to start by putting it manually in, you can start to at least report some of it, and you go like, I'm alive and I've done this.
Exactly.
Brilliant. I love talking to you, Lukasz. Let's catch up soon and just stay safe.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to meeting you again.
Absolutely. Look, yeah, I hope that we will catch up soon. I hope that we will do a jam session. You on harmonica or guitar, me on piano.
Next time in London, I'll bring a couple of harmonicas and let's see if we can sample them in somehow and do something with and you put on the beat and the rest.
That sounds like a plan. So thank you very much for having me, and wish you good time and stay safe. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone who was listening to us.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Yes.
Take care.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.